Everything seems broken and people feel like they're losing control of their lives after 8 years of Justin Trudeau.
Take a look around you. Do you think things are working well? Do you think your life is going okay? You take a look at your grocery bill, your gas bill, and all the other things that are so expensive in your life, and things aren't looking so good. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Jamil Jivani and Brian Lilley. Jamil, I bring up that intro just to talk about and just to lay this table, as it were, for recent polling that is showing that Canadians do feel, and a majority agree with the statement that Canada is broken. Just last week, Leger came out with a poll saying over 70% of Canadians agreed that Canada is broken. And just recently, Abacus Data came out with their own survey that showed 65% of Canadians agreed with the statement that things are not good, not going well in this country. I want to put it to you. What is broken in this country?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think when most Canadians that I know think about whether the country's broken or not, it comes down to one question, which is, are your kids going to have a better life than you had? Is your hard work, the effort you're putting into your job, all the struggle that you go through, is it actually going to better your kid's life? And there was a time in this country where everyone would have said that is true, that you could immigrate here, you could be born here, you could work hard, and your kids would inherit a house. Your kids would inherit a better quality of life. The country was progressing. It was moving forward and being able to guarantee a better life for most people. And I think that's what's changed for many Canadians. They no longer have that confidence that their kid is going to be guaranteed a better life. And when that gets rocked, when that confidence goes away, it's very hard to feel good about the direction of the country. So, Justin Trudeau and others can try to defend their record and say, well, we're doing this for you and we're doing that for you, and look at these rebates and look at this money we're spending. But if people don't feel like it's actually moving the country in a better direction, then what's it all worth?
I think there's a very important aspect to this, Brian, because Canadians can look around us and think our institutions are broken. We often, probably far too often in the Toronto Sun, have to write stories about criminals that got away and because they were out on bail. So the bail system's broken. We see people illegally pouring through our borders. So the border's broken. Public policy is broken. Our politicians are broken. Parliament Hill doesn't work. Is it institutional? Is it really about the politics of it all? What is happening?
It's tough to say. I mean, some of it is out of the hands of government. Others a direct response to bad policy. Jamil mentioning buying a house, and as he was talking there, I was thinking, my parents came to this country, and within 5 years, were able to buy a house. I was able to buy a house when I was young. My kids, no, that's not in the cards for them, through no fault of their own. Even with hard work, it will be incredibly difficult for them to do what I did, to do what my parents did. That's in 2 generations. And then you mentioned the bail thing. You mentioned other parts of government not working, our passport offices. The immigration department doesn't work. We, beyond the people at Roxham Road, we have a shortage of skilled tradespeople in this country, and the federal government's own website says it takes 5 years to process an application for a skilled tradesperson. So if you're a plumber, carpenter, electrician looking to leave your country and go somewhere else, you're going to bypass Canada. So time and again, and then our school systems, whether it's critical race theory or the issues surrounding allowing teachers with fake giant breasts whose stories change all the time, and defending that and not students, you just look around and you say, what is working right? So Pierre Poilievre was criticized when he started saying this. And now the polls are showing, actually, he's onto something. People don't feel like society is working well for them.
Jamil, I'm going to give you the last word because I think that there is a significant institutional component to this. We do look at our organizations around us and we don't feel that any of them function, like Brian said, be it from the education system to the passport offices. There's very basic things that, government has a few roles in our lives to do, one of not the least of which is to provide us services. They don't do that well. But let's go a little bit to the politics of this. Our colleague in the Toronto Sun, Warren Kinsella, just recently posted an article talking about this data that majority of Canadians feel dissatisfied or that the country is broken. Poilievre has said this, and he jokes now and says, anytime I say Canada is broken, it offends Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau that says, everything is awesome. Look over here at this shiny thing, shiny object, and distract us. How is this in terms of a political strategy for Poilievre, talking about the negative? Because, we always hear people want to hear uplifting and positive messages. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's interesting because on the political left, when we're talking about Justin Trudeau, in some cases, he would argue that the country is broken. He would say that our criminal justice system is racist. He would lower our flag at half-mast for a year plus. I mean, this is obviously a guy who doesn't have a lot of pride in Canada. What conservatives mean is not that Canada isn't worth being proud of. What they're saying is that the institutional leaders are not being accountable to the masses of Canadians. The average Canadian family is not being done right by our leaders. And I think that's the message that Pierre Poilievre has to make very clear, that we should be proud of Canada. It is a country with incredible potential, but ultimately the people are being betrayed by leaders who say things like we're a post-nationalist country, that there's no actual national identity here, that there's no responsibility to the people of Canada, who call the majority of the middle class in this country privileged because of their race or because of their gender and sex, and then say that they're representing the privileged masses and their needs when we're struggling in the economy. There's a disconnect between our leaders at an institutional level, at all levels of government, and the masses of Canadians. And that's the difference between the conservative message that Canada is broken versus the liberal message that Canada is racist and oppressive and evil.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments below, and go to the torontosun.com and hit that subscribe button. You're going to find coverage like this and other stories you will not find anywhere else.